There is no doubt there is a storm coming. One of the benefits, maybe the only benefit of the COVID era, is that I learned that cloth masks make very handy scarves in a pinch. There is some horrible, horrible weather on the way, at least according to everybody that's a weatherman or a newscaster. And it's Friday, so one thing I did today before the sun rose was took an ice cold shower. I mean, it was not a good idea because it's ice cold outside. Next thing I did is I poured a cup of coffee, and I'll talk more about that a little bit later on my walk. The next thing I did was order the donuts from Vinny at the Pick and Save down the lake road. But one thing that I've done every Friday that I can remember for quite some time now is take the long walk to Burdock Hill. Now, I'm not gonna have the video run the entire way, because if I do that, my lips will get out of sync and then you won't be able to read my lips. That's kind of a joke because I'm wearing a mask and you can't see my lips anyway. All right, maybe I shouldn't quit my day job and become a comedian. Stick to the prank calls, Mrgrrr. I have a lot on my mind this morning as I'm walking. There was the ping of my wife's cell phone. I heard it early this morning and I just kind of grit my teeth because I knew the kids were going to have school canceled. There is really not a snowflake falling from the sky right now, though. Like, the weather is okay. It's cold, but you can feel the tension in the atmosphere. Like, holy cow, Mother Nature and Old Man Winter are going to have a ruckus up there and drop some snow on us. So, I'm going to get a lot of exercise today. Senior Shovel and I are going to get the job done. I'm still hoping that I make it all the way to Burdock Hill, get up there, and get that off my list early today. Because I think once the blizzard's here and there's whiteout conditions, walking around outside, is that brave or is that stupid? Chances are that fine line crosses into the stupid category. Yeah, I got a feeling any minute now. Yeah, I can feel it gently on my face. It's a coming. When you're an old man, you can feel it in your bones when the rain and snow are about to fall from the sky. My guess is that on the way home from Burdock Hill, if the video goes that long, there'll be snowflakes on the camera. The storm is coming. The snowflakes are starting to come down pretty good now. I'm walking towards the train. Anytime I get too close to the train, it's always hard to hear whoever I'm talking to on my cell phone. On these walks, a lot of times I'll call my dad, call my mom, call my brother. Well, I ain't calling anybody this early in the morning, so instead of calling people, I'm just gonna talk to myself. Work on my communication skills. Work on giving kindness to a world that sometimes is cold and stormy. I cannot help but feeling this morning that God, I feel a little bit cursed this morning. Got up early and poured that cup of coffee, sat down in front of my computer, wrote my little note to my wife that I do every day. I still haven't written in my doodle diary yet, and I'll get that done today. I really want to think about what I want to say today because it's an important day. I'm going to go this way, I think. Now let's take the street. That way my feet won't get so wet because the snow is deep that way. Poured my cup of coffee. I was really looking forward to having always one more digital cup of coffee with my new pal Carson. And he probably does not share that sentiment. I've said this at least 3 or 4 times on my videos that Carson, the new disc jockey filling in for Murphy in the morning, was basically, stepping into the shoes of a giant. Like, Murphy had Katie and Nick, and they had such chemistry and such an awesome show. All 3 of them leave in one swoop, and here we go, throwing this guy Carson, and compete with that. Good luck. Talk about an underdog story. Even though Carson and I kind of started our, I would say, interactions together on a negative note, I really began to root for the guy, really began to hope that he would succeed because the odds against him succeeding were pretty, he was a long shot to say the least. But today, sure enough, it looks like, from what I can tell on the internet, WIXX let Carson go. And that, well, makes me a little bit sad because I wanted to have always one more digital cup of coffee with that young man. It takes a lot of bravery, takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of guts to talk to the world. And I admire that because that's something I practice each and every day. And Carson, he is much better at it than I am. And I know I could learn a lot from him by watching him and listening to him and learning from him. And I just got this hope in my heart that I still can do that. Like I said, sometimes I think I'm cursed. I don't know how many times I've walked past this window in my journeys. I've taken pictures of it. I've talked to my son about it. It's dark, but I think because my eyes are pretty good, I kind of messed around with that concept at the doctor's office when I was taking my mom to the doctor. I don't see any writing on that window from here. Be patient, be grateful, be kind. The words are gone, so they have been cleaned, they've been erased. Like there was a treasure chest that used to be right there, there was a bench that used to be right there, there was a washing machine that used to be over there where that silver trailer is parked, and that's gone. Oh, there's the washing machine right there. It just moved. But the thing is, I think Jess, the lady that lived in this house, might not be here anymore because her message of kindness is no longer on the window. That makes me a little sad. I came this way for a reason because I just had a feeling that that window was now devoid of that message of kindness. I just knew it in my heart. Just knew it. That's the kind of storm that's coming. Coming up on Burdock Hill, up past that tree there, The weather's held off. It's been quite a kind of a cold walk. Car just drove by, and kind of always hope that when I'm walking at this time in the morning, the headlights go by. You know, I wave as they go by. Every once in a while, you get lucky, and that car that drives by at this time in the morning is a police officer watching over us, making sure that we're safe. I dropped off that popcorn, of course, to the boys, girls, and pups in blue at the Neenah police station recently, and got the super sad, heartbreaking news that Bobby, one of the two canine units, passed away from cancer after a very, very short life. I believe Bobby was only 7 years old, which I'm sure that Bobby lived and loved more than most organisms ever will in those 7 years, but what a heartbreaking story that was to hear. So my condolences, of course, to the boys, girls, and the one pup in blue that's left. Well, I guess Badges, the station dog, is still there, so there's still 2 dogs left, but all right, I made it to Burdock Hill finally. So I'm gonna climb, I'm gonna say the words, and then I'm gonna see about sending my buddy the coach a text message from atop Burdock Hill, as has been my tradition for many, many Fridays. Well, I made it. I'm on top of Burdock Hill here in Neenah. I got my footprints to guide me back down and get me back home safe. If I follow the path I took, I'll get home to where I need to be. It's gonna be a long day. It's gonna be a cold day. Like I said, there's a storm coming. There is a storm coming. I was wondering why the flag was flying at half-mast at the Neenah PD department. Now I know. Bobby the canine is watching over all those that watch over us. I wrote that on the computer today. Now I've said it aloud. I think that's more important. I was hoping I would walk by here and still see the lights off up on the 3rd story up there. That would lead me to believe that my mom was still peacefully asleep. But the apple does not fall far from the tree. Early to rise. The lights are on, so I still have a little bit more of a journey to go on today, but I might stop by on the way back and see how Mom is feeling this morning. It's important for me to know that I'm strong enough to get there, strong enough to be there when the storms hit.